Alright. We're starting with my favorite song from the Nier Automata soundtrack. And of course, the game has to re-import all of these things. But okay, welcome back to At the Ends of Eras, our semi-annual At the Ends of Eras stream. And I think the only thing that I really have to do before I do everything else is write the biography of Jackie's mom, write how the medium is going to change, and that is important. It's too important to just ignore and do other things. Maybe I can demo the thermal vision on stream, that could be fun. But then once I do that, we'll be diving right into writing, and since this is it's giving you the story of Jackie's mom in a game where uncovering that story is the entire point of the game, kind of. I mean, admittedly, I think it's more just a vehicle to go through the world and explore. But it is still the central pillar of the game's story, so it'll be spoiling things. But okay, we're 98% of the way there. We're almost here. And literally none of this is even relevant at all because I'm just gonna have to look at all these and look at the diff. Literally nothing. It's just changing the lines. Reset all that. Pull whatever I pulled. Git submodule update remote merge. Perfect. Git submodules are all messed up because you can't just have a branch. Because in Git, the concept of a branch is actually it doesn't exist. There's only commits. And so you can't just have a submodule that's following a branch. It's only following specific commits, and then you have to update automatically or update manually and stuff like that. It's weird. Okay, wait, why is it doing this now? What did I do? Why does it keep doing this? Did I fuck it up again? Whatever. Okay. Let's get... because this is going to be another 50,000 hours. Let's get... oh yeah, we don't need this. This is my cool script for, whatever it was. RTX Red Rock. I'm going to make a video about it, because it was fun to play. because it's a game that's almost good. And that's in many ways more interesting than a game that actually is good. Okay, I'm back. Or I moved my microphone, so hopefully I have like nicer audio here. Yeah, look at all this crap that's changing for no reason. It's just like one import file changed. And it's just I'm pretty sure it's just changing the new lines. Okay, whatever. And now we're in the Florence soundtrack. We are not continuing the Nier Automata soundtrack until the Florence soundtrack is done, of course. Okay, writing, design, Tali. So Tali was actually, I think there's some main... Actually, let's just put down the last of this. So, basically, going through her life, blah, blah, blah. I have some notes here about, like, things that I don't know. Basically, she lived in a town called, Black Basin? Yeah, or it's called... Okay, I think I know what it is. Sherrod is the town where she grew up. That's in the mountains. And then she went down to Black Basin, which is currently called Lagoon Town. But Black Basin is a cooler name, because Lagoon Town was always temporary. But, lived in Sherrod, there was a war, her family died. She moved with her aunt and uncle to a different town. It sucked, because, like, the economy was collapsing, so they were doing, like, drug trade, basically. Is like, the way to, like, make money. So then she left, she went to the town of Crab Hill, where she met a guy named Sadok, who we meet in the game. He's an asshole. He was a, like, insurgent soldier. I think he was working as a spy in the city, which is why he wasn't, like, living in some sort of bunker. She lived with him for a bit, which was not, socially acceptable. But then she left, I think... Did she leave immediately? I think... She left for a year to do something else. I don't know what yet. She left in the dead of night. Where? 2 years later, Jackie's dad met her while he was doing contract work. They, like... Yeah, I guess they made a connection. He... home to marry. And then about 2 years after that, she disappeared again. So, let's say... to marry, so, about a year later, Jackie was born. Also, at one point in this, Tali's name, she changes her name to Sharifa, because Tali is, like, for a, like a religious subgroup. But okay, so that's her story. But I'll need to think a lot about the details of it, like, who do you meet, what do you learn, what are potential misdirections, what are the, like, major gaps that the player will not be able to figure out, what are the major gaps that the player will be able to figure out, and how. Like, the name change is going to be a big issue, because Jackie pretty much only knows her mother's name. So I think that means, like, there's going to be one location where you can actually figure out this connection, and that is, there's a quest where you meet a woman who looks eerily similar to Jackie. And so I think the clear logical connection will be, oh, she must be related to me, or she must be related to Jackie, and therefore related to my mom. And then you find out, oh, there was a girl named Tali, but a lot of us changed our names to be, like, more Muslim-sounding names, basically when the religion changed. Oh yeah, here's night vision, by the way. Ta-da! Basically, this was a lot of work. Well, it was actually surprisingly a lot less work than I was worried about. Because my big fear was I'd have to, like, go through every single object and have, like, attach a script where, like, there's a signal for each object to swap materials. But what I actually wound up doing is just changing all of the shaders, because there's a lot fewer shaders than objects. And so every shader actually has, like, the thermal properties of the object baked in, and it switches at runtime to a black and white version of the world. Let's see, hang on, where's my... Godot crashed. The Godot editor is gone. The game is here. But yeah, the editor is not anywhere. Okay. It's good to be back. Literally every, like, 15 minutes, I swap between, like, do I want to keep using Godot for this game, or do I want to go through and, like more heavily modify the engine, use D and stuff like that, because I still have all that native code. But then all that like 4 hours I spent making this shader would be all for naught. I'd have to make a new system. Oh well. I'll show you what it is. There's a correction. So I have a color correction, and now what it does is it also... There is one global variable called thermal vision. So if we set that to 1, it changes the game world to, like, a different color scheme. And then if we go to my global, there's a thermal vision filter, because that just turns it to black and white. And then this is what actually grades the, changes it into the classic, like, thermal vision. The red gets hot, you know, white, red, yellow, cyan, blue. So we get our beautiful sun here, for example, that I can switch around. And I basically made this, I literally made this on the plane while I was leaving back home for Nebraska. So that's why it wasn't streamed, because it'd be a good stream material. But oh well. Yeah, we don't need thermal vision right now. What I need to do is I need to figure out, in much more detail, Tali's life. So, Tali was born in Sherrod. So obviously, there are some stats here. This is kind of how the entire game is going to be structured, as information that you learn about Tali / Sharifa / Jackie's mom will all have, like, it'll just be global tags. So, like, mum / Sherrod. So there's actually a few things that... There's a few different stats that I already see here. Mum / Sherrod, so she was born here. Mum / Sherrod / Sirti, which is that it was a mostly Sirti town. Okay. She had a father and a grandmother and father, mother, sister. So what should I call that? Mum / pa. Mum / aunt. Actually, I should say... I'll put this as, like, relative things. So yeah, I'll just list out every single, like, discrete bit of information we can learn about her. Very exciting stuff. But okay, even from a young age, Tali didn't feel right. She felt disconnected from her world, like a ghost. So I don't know what this means. Like, in actual, like, specific in specific, like, anecdotes. Because that's what I always try to think about when I say these sorts of things. Like, I guess this is a good thing. Like, it's just sort of weird behavior. Like, she would occasionally steal valuable things from well-to-do figures in the village and hide or destroy them out of a sense they were unearned. Because that's sort of behavior that you can sometimes see in kids where, like, they'll steal things not to have them, but just to, like, make sure that somebody else doesn't have them. And I think that's kind of the behavior that she had from a young age. So let's have that be our specific anecdote. So, like, mum slash, child slash stealing, maybe? Maybe we'll have a lot more mum slash child behaviors. Maybe like that. She had little attachment to Syrdism. I guess just the Syrdi religion is what I'd call it instead. Feeling like the religion controlled their lives. I don't think she has that sort of nuance. I think she just, because this is meant to be, like, before she was 15. So I also don't know who would actually have given us this anecdote. But I think having all of these bits will be good. Because then I can think, like, who in isolation would know, like, her father? And I guess this is actually, like, mum slash father does not... This is information for, like, her father's name, I guess? Okay. So I'll just put, like, the actual, like, information that is revealed from this. Mom was born and lived in Sherrod. Is predominantly Syrdi. So you can see how, for example, knowing these two bits of information, the player would, like, the player character or the medium itself would automatically draw the conclusion, oh, then our mom is probably Syrdi. So I'll just put that here as well. And in fact, let's specifically say family was Syrdi. Potentially inferred. I might want, like, a weaker one, like a weaker inference, because this is like someone has explicitly confirmed, yes, she is Syrdi. Where this is just more like inferring, like, you know, she was born in that town, and most people in that town were Syrdi, so, you know, maybe. But okay, she had little attachment to the Syrdi religion. What would that be? Mum slash child slash detached, maybe? So she loved the old Syrdi ruins. She felt they had to be a separate culture. So there's two different things here. Let's say that, and then mum slash child slash Gelrin. Because basically, in the game, there's lots of ruins. Let's go to the tree, for example. And this is sort of like a work-in-progress version of it. Let's go to the actual tree. Don't we have the real tree somewhere in here? It should be chunks, right? Maybe tower. Wait, hang on. Yeah, there are these strange ruins scattered around. And there's two different theories as to them. One is that they are descendants of an existing culture within the area, the Old Sirti, and the other is that they're a completely separate culture called the Gelrin. And the Gelrin is sort of the more neutral theory, but Sirti people believe that they are descended from these people, and so they call them the Old Sirti. But also, people who really dislike the Sirti also refer to these ruins as the Old Sirti. Because there's also, like, creatures that are coming out of these ruins that are, like, killing people. And so they think, well, if you want to associate with the society that's, like, creating monsters and demons, then yeah, be my guest, buddy. So yeah, I think this is 2 stats here, specifically for this. So she would always make time to wander them, but she was too young to explore very far. I guess what I'd say then is, like, this would be explorer. And we'd have some other nuance of, like, ruins, I guess? Okay, she found the Veilers fascinating with their elaborate concrete buildings and trains. In many ways, they were like the Old City, technologically advanced, mathematical, and strange. And the Veilers are basically like colonists from a more wealthy country, Jackie's homeland, that have come in, and they're sort of like, they're the ones who, like, built the train tracks in the game world. So if we go to, like, Crab Hill. Oh, somewhere in here. Crab Hill should be... Where's Crab Hill Rails? That's a good one. Does my preview terrain still work? Nice. So, like, they were building, like, very elaborate, like, these massive concrete structures. They were building this train station, which is eventually going to be cool looking. But I'll probably have to, like, completely redo this city again. But okay, that'd be like mum/child/ Veilers. Mum/child/ what would it be? Maybe this? Veiler Gelrin? So, like, this one is, this stat means she had a fascination with these Veilers. And this one is, she considered the Veilers to be similar to the Gelrin/Old Sirti. But okay. The war started when she was 14. What is the exact information that the player would have here? How would they understand this timeline? I guess war/charade would be, let's say war/early charade. Let's call this mum/war start, which is, was 14 or so when the war started. Okay. Basically, once you have the actual date, and once you have this, then you can infer more information based on, like, you know, that the fact that she was probably in Charade at the time. The fact that, Charade was not tactically relevant, but it was relevant later. So let's see. Well, this, like, war/, what would this be? Village destruction? Basically, after about a year into the war, the Veilers began to raise cities like Charade under the belief that extremists were hiding among civilians. So this would be that, and then maybe war slash charade destruction. Okay. Mum slash war slash death. Let's say that. War slash fled charade. War slash I think this is gonna be Black Basin. So yeah, Tali's immediate family was killed and she fled Sherrod with her aunt, uncle, and cousins. So I think that's basically just going to be 3 different bits of information. Her family's death, fleeing Sherrod, going to Black Basin, other family members. And I'll assume that, like, I was gonna, like, split the hair on, like, you know, maybe it's relevant that you know she went to Black Basin, but don't know who she went with. But I don't care that much. It's going to be 1 bit. I don't need to, like, have this split down to, like, the atomic level. It's already quite granular, as we can see from all of these little list items. Because we're only, like, halfway through her life to this point. But okay, they moved to Black Basin, which is the home, or where some of her family had connections. So we know that from here. I guess we can just put that here. And also, let's put all of our city names in here, proper nouns. Why is Mum not here? Okay. But yeah, going to Black Basin with her family members. Mum slash Black Basin. I guess this is now, say Mum had some family. Or has family who lives in Black Basin. Okay, let's have this now. So, like, Yakaz. Let's say war economy. As 1 bit of information. War slash monarch. So yeah, there was a monarch and now he's gone, so there's a power vacuum, and then there's going to be Yakaz warlords. So yeah, there's a power vacuum after the war, economic downturn. Power vacuum, Yakaz warlords would be basically, Yakaz is primarily governed by warlords. Okay. So Black Basin had a drug trade that grows during this time. So there's basically 2 things. Black Basin drugs, and then, I guess this is the existence of the drug trade. Then let's say, like, Yakaz drugs, there was a growing drug trade after the war, because the war, you know, the monarchy didn't support it. The warlords don't care, they just want to make money. The emirate didn't support it then. So let's say trade exploded after the war because the monarchy was no longer able to stop it, and most warlords, the power slash money. Okay. And then, like, Tali's uncle, I believe, is like a major figure in this. Because right now we've gone through a lot of the quests with this, like where the fields are and stuff. And we know, for example, Jackie's like great uncle owned some fields in this little nook that were used for this, and this is now going to be Black Basin. Is this what a basin is? I mean, this is more like a valley. I guess this is where the river goes, and this would be a basin. Hang on. Important distinction. What is a basin? A basin is... let's say a depression in geology. Let's see what types of basins there are. Back arc, a submarine feature. Okay. Drainage basin, in which all water drains to a common area. Endoheic basin, or endorheic basin. Closed topographical low area with no drainage outlet. Impact basin, retention basin, detention basin, sedimentary basin, structural basin. I think our best bet is probably a retention basin. Because, yeah, I do think... I just like the name Black Basin, because it sounds cool. Because black is a spooky color, but also there's the alliteration. So I'm just not sure what the basin would actually be. Like, I feel like this could be considered a basin, if it's a low-lying area, because if the river is going this way, and then if it gets high, it floods into here. Good enough for me. I mean, they don't even call them, like, the names of places don't even have to be geologically correct. It's just better if they are. Or typically they are, I'd say. But it's the same way that people can call, like, a marsh a swamp and vice versa, even though they're technically different things. I don't even know the distinction. But okay, I'm going to call this mum/family business. This should probably actually be mum/uncle business. Or I guess this is going to be, let's call it that. So yeah. Extended family was involved in the is in the drug trade. Actually, I think this is going to be, like, past tense and present tense are two different bits. So yeah, extended family is involved in the drug trade. And then this one, for the uncle, Jackie's great uncle, especially. So Tali's becoming more bitter and violent, staying mostly to herself, though she has a small group of friends. I guess not loose friends, just friends. This would be like mum/Tali? No, not Tali. What was her name? Natya. Mum/ what was the other one? Yomi? I may need to change their names. Because, yeah, those names are not accurate anymore. I think this would be like Natya. So mum/Natya/ let's say mum/teen. Bitter. And then, like, isolated. Okay. Those are fine. So deeper interest in the ruins, delving deeper into them than most are willing to go, especially now that Satak Maz consider them un-Islamic and are trying to close them up or destroy them. So that'd be Satak Maz, Gelrin. Let's call this ruins. And then mum slash teen slash ruins. Actually, that's a good name for this here. Oh wait, no, we already have that. Because yeah, fun. It'll be fun once I also like have to put all of these in a grid and then check to see if there's any like inferred behavior from all of this information. And also I need to make sure that like this is everything I need still. But okay. When she's 17 or so, she gets enough money stolen to go to Crab Hill, so this would be mum slash Hill. As a young adult. Actually, would she have lived somewhere else in between this? I could do that still. I'm going to say that. Mum slash teen escape. She eventually found her way to Crab Hill. And then we should probably have, where did she live before then? Basically, there's some town here, or there was some town near Crab Hill. So yeah, she lived up in the mountains, then she lived down there. Then I'm gonna say... Maybe she went back to Sherrod? That makes sense. She moved back to Sherrod. But the city was growing unstable due to civil unrest. Or, I guess dangerous due to insurgent and conflict. This would be like Yakaz slash, I guess, what would it be? Anti-Sirdi? So yeah, anti-Sirdi conflict in the country. And then probably, teen Sird or Sharon. She eventually, I'm gonna say she changed her name. Let's say after a major bombing or something. So yeah, this will be mum slash Sharifa. Actually, we need here Tali. Our mom's name was Tali. Because we don't know this. We only know her as Sharifa at the start of the game. So let's say, Sharon bombing, before the Civil War. Then she lived in Crab Hill as a young adult, so probably here as well we'd have Sherrod left. Or let's say mum slash teen slash left Sherrod. Okay. And then we go to Crab Hill as a young adult. So yeah, we should also have probably Sirdi slash fake names. Or Sirdi slash hiding. So like many Sirdi changed their names or went into hiding due to anti-Sirdi issues. I guess just due to anti-Sirdi sentiment. There we go. Okay, so how can we discover this from multiple angles? Yeah, physical resemblance will be a big one. So we're going to need Black Basin. So they moved to Black Basin where the family has connections, so we're probably going to need probably this one. Mum slash Black Basin would be like there are people who resemble us here. So yeah, let's say this one is going to represent in Black Basin. And then there should be some explicit confirmation that this is, like, actually family, and not just some freak accident of people who look like Jackie for no reason. It'll be fun to, like, make unique dialogue for every single one of these. It's going to be exponential. Oh, well. Okay, let's say that's fine for now. I'll have to think really hard about, like, what is the actual process of doing all of this stuff? Or, like, what is every bit of information that I need? Because I don't think I have the complete picture yet. Alright, so let's get some things. So, there, in Crab Hill, she meets Sadok. So that should be, like, mum slash knows, or Sadok. Or let's say Sadok met. So basically, mum met Sadok Crab Hill after between the Valak War and the Civil War as Sharifa. That bit of information codes a lot of stuff. But okay, Sadok, Satak, Maz, so part of Maz before it became the Emirate. Yeah, let's say that. Sadok reveals his, I guess, let's say, connection with, so this would basically be like Sadok, orphan. Actually, that's what we should call this. So we should say mum slash, so not mum slash war slash whatever, like village destruction, Sherrod destruction. We need a mum slash orphan. That's what it's called. So yeah, Sadok orphan, mum Sadok feelings. We'd also probably have like Sadok, G spent a large portion of his childhood in a refugee camp. And now we're listening to the Nier Automata soundtrack. In fact, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Yeah, admittedly, this is not super exciting stream stuff, but I needed to do this. And I also wanted to stream at the ends of eras, but I knew that if I didn't do this, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Because it's a thing that's been... I've had all of this information for, like, since quite early in the game, but I've never actually gone through and just, like, made a list of everything and check it twice. But okay, she left in the dead of night to where? Kind of experience with Mom. And also, I think this is going to be Sadak / betrayal. So Sadak feels betrayed. I guess this would be Mum / Sadak betrayal. So yeah, Sadak feels deeply betrayed by Mum leaving so suddenly. And I guess it should actually be live or together. Yeah, they lived together for about a year or something. I'll need to nail down the exact timeline of things, and then also the inexact timeline. Because I gotta remember as well, now I need to add, like, or once I have all of this information, I need to also have things like incorrect information, or like very specific details of what she looked like, and stuff like that. But okay, she left in the dead of night. To where? That's a good question. Because basically, this is becoming sort of a hotbed for Satak Maz before, like, as they mount their, or begin their civil war. Why is the water so fucked up? I don't know what the deal with that is. I'm gonna hide from that. Look away from it. We're doing this whole thing again anyway. I don't need to bother with it. So yeah, I'm gonna say, Graham Hill, Stock, Maz, up to the Civil War, or leading into the Civil War, Talk, Maz took over the, whatever, capital, or took over Crab Hill. As their, like, main base. Or as a major base of operations. And we also know Satak Maz, Sirdi, Maz in specific, were very anti-Sirdi. But okay. And then... yeah, where would she have gone before then? Because Sharad would be a bad bet. Maybe Mazlakir for a little bit. Yeah, I think Mazlakir is the right place. Let's say, actually, Dad met Mum in Mazlakir, near the copper foundry. Because basically, in the lore of the game, right in here is a large copper mine with a copper foundry. And then they, like, you know, connect to the train station here, so I'll need to fix that. And so, that's where Jackie's mom, or Jackie's dad, met her mom. And then they got married and stuff. So actually, the player should probably be directed to here very early on, even though it's kind of a dead end. Because basically they start the game right here. And yeah, that'd be a good place to go to, because it's like, oh, I gotta figure out how to climb up this cool mountain out of this cool valley. I mean, admittedly, as I keep saying, I keep forgetting that, like, also all of this terrain is going to be changed, because I need it to be a height map, not a mesh. It's just too much hassle having mesh. But okay. Yeah, 2 years later, Jackie's dad met her, blah, blah, blah. And then about a year later, Jackie was born, and a year after that, she disappeared, and that's where we have this. This is information that Jackie is born. Well, I think these three Jackie knows at the start of the game. So yeah, what we'd probably need... So I guess basically we would just infer that Jackie's mom left Crab Hill, came to Mazlikir, to the Copper Foundry, which admittedly kind of a questionable idea, because that's like a foundry is going to be like one of the big things that would be like a site for insurgents, because, you know, you'd want to take over the foundry. But okay, there are other things that I want in here. So I'll gradually work this in. Purple eyes. Mum/intense eyes. /huh. Let's say, I think /huh. In all of Natya's stories about Jackie's mom, she uses huh. Because there's a lot of things I decided early on that I liked, like, if Jackie's mom develops a verbal tic in the medium based on what a friend, like an impression of a friend. Because admittedly, I don't know how many people watching this don't know the premise of the game, which is that you're learning about Jackie's mom to get... What the heck is this? Okay. I can't look at that. I'm getting too distracted. There's a memory scanning machine called the medium. So you're learning about Jackie's mom so that Jackie can sit in the medium, get her memory scanned, and then it uses that information to build a more accurate representation of her. And so one of the things that I wanted from the very beginning was you listen to a friend of Jackie's mom doing an impression of her as just like an incidental part of a story. But every time she does the impression, she has a particular verbal tic, which in this case is just... Her mom often says the word huh a lot. And so then, after that, the medium starts doing it too, or the medium's simulation of Jackie's mom. Yeah, what the heck is with this water? Probably this one? Let's do, like, albedo. Is it because something here is not correct? Emission, maybe. It feels like it's the shadows. Because we can see the shadows are casting in this direction. Maybe it's something to do with the depth. Weird. Yeah, something is nan there. And admittedly, I don't care very much. But okay, what I'm gonna do now is... I need to figure out what the medium... Like, what are all of the aspects of the medium that I want to change? So let's go to medium. Or no, illusory room is the real thing here. Let's see, let's show one of these. There we are. Because, yeah, there's a whole fancy animation. Which kind of doesn't work right, it looks like. Yeah, it was supposed to fade out gracefully. Oh, well. But yeah, there's all sorts of different kinds of characters that we can have here. Like the little versions of Mom. The big versions of Mom. We can have different rooms. We can have, like, a stone room. Is this visible? There we are. We can have this primordial, like, black void. So yeah, let's show some of these other rooms as well. Some of these are, like, contextual. Like, for only specific events, like the wars and things like that. But yeah. So, obvious things are Mom's physical appearance. Let's call this, like, medium... Oh, wait, we already have a thing called medium here. Lots of stuff. Oh. Okay. In-universe, let's say medium... Mechanics... In-game. So, the aspects of the medium that I want to change to Mom's physical appearance would just be, like, body type. Little, human, let's say primordial as well. And then from these, we can have eye color, skin color, outfit, which is actually also only here. So, like, Sarity, let's say conservative Muslim. What would it be? Secular? I guess? Okay, that makes sense. Room. So the room can also be primordial. Probably like mud, brick, charade. What does the room actually represent? I think that is the most interesting one. That the room is not meant to be like the literal, like a literal place that her mother was, unless it's an event. That is something that can have events. Because yeah, there's basically two types of medium changes. There are events and there are, like, changes. You know, events are just one-time things where, like, you learned some big information, so you actually just get a new event based on some location. Or, like, queues up a change. I have a lot of that in the design here. Actually, I'm pretty sure we have a lot of that in here somewhere. Ah, well. So yeah, what does the room actually represent? I think it represents her personality. Like, where do we think she would be the most comfortable talking to us? And then there's different answers to questions. So these would be pretty clear of, like, you know, she would have different information for different things. So, like, all sorts of information about people or places. But also, why did you leave? Where did you go? Do you love me? Things like this. So yeah, most of these are like additive. You learn that your mom knew something, so now you can ask her about it. More specific answers are at the top, obviously. These can have their own slot-based changes. So yeah, two forms of changes. Events and slot-based effects. And slots can basically be, they're either answers or they're things like these, where there's a very specific set of them, you know, eye color and skin color. There can only be one eye color at a time, and only one skin color at a time. But then other things like the answers to questions, there's a lot of answers to questions. It's basically going to be kind of, it's less formalized. It'll just be kind of wibbly-wobbly of, like, the way that I have it now. Let's go to dialogue. Let's go to writing. No, let's go to medium, probably somewhere in here. Quest major, medium, then go to the medium. So if we go to, like, note, blah. So, like, let's go down into the middle here for things that aren't too spoilery. But we have, for example, like, the village provides mentioned Yukazi. This basically means that we know that our mom was Yukazi, and we have some vague notion of what the average Yukazi person would say. And so therefore, Jackie's mom would say something about the average Yukazi. But we could have then above that, where mentioned, I don't know, some other information. Or where, like, state, get stat, mum slash, detached. And, you know, she has some different answer. So that's kind of how I would implement the quote-unquote slots for these answers. Basically, I would just write an arbitrary number of these, like, conditions. And then the one at the top, like, basically the way that these conditions work is it chooses the first one that matches from top to bottom. And so this now means that once we have this bit of information about our mother, this answer will always take priority over this one. And admittedly, I'll figure that out. So yeah, there'll be a lot of writing for the medium. Because I want the player to feel like half the game is... Well, I guess not half the game is in dialogue, but basically like everything they experience in the game, they can then come back to the medium and talk to their mother about it. And she'll have something to say based on her personality. And I've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure it's in the design doc somewhere that, like, I'm going to formalize, like, the exact order of all of these bits of information. And that's kind of what I need to do now. About people, places, and ideas. I think I might just have these as, like, separate notes in the journal. So that way I can always clearly indicate that they have new information. So why did you leave? Where did you go? Yeah, okay. I'm going to add these as just journal notes. Let's go to player start. So yeah, we're no longer going to have this mum slash... Well, I guess we can have that. Let's do journal... Let's go through our journal. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit. So let's just have const journal. How do I want to do this? I guess I'll just do lists of lists. And what I'll do is for entry in, let's say, new journal. Journal dot add note entry 0 entry 1. And this way I can just write down all of this without having like a whole bunch of stuff that I need. But okay, we'll remember this. Oh wait, we also need the stat here. Oh wait, yeah. So what we actually need is note. Entry 0, entry 1, entry 2. I forgot that I need this basically here. Yeah, so we don't really need this, I don't think. Yeah. Because yeah, now what we're going to do, move this as well. Okay, so when we do journal note, main tag, text tags. Okay. That does exactly what I want. And now that's a lot less. Okay, so my landing point in this excursion, this should be Vishar medium. There we are. All right. And then what I'll have is 3 more notes. Why did you leave? And then, like, where did you go? And then... did you even love me? So yeah, these will be the important questions to ask. And then also, let's have... all he's ever said. Say mum, and then let's say dad. We need commas. There we go. So this now lets us have all sorts of... or now I can write the journal in this very clunky list of lists format. And this way I can have like a massive journal at the start. Oh yeah, also... I thought it'd be funny if the player starts the game with just an obscene amount of money. And, like, you never actually get more money throughout the game. It's not a resource that you, like, use. It's just a thing that the player has. Like, because the currency is weak in the game. So it's like, she took, like, 100 Great British Pounds and converted it into 75,000 Yakazi Rial. And she could live for, like, a year. But okay, lots of crap. CD add-ons, MP dialogue. Let's fix all of this because there's literally 2 files that we actually need here. Of course. Input, status. Oh wait, hang on. And because we have that... okay. Git add star.res. Git add add-ons. Project Godot. Actually... what the heck happened? Nothing happened. Okay, anything interesting that actually happened here? Let's see what the rest of this is. Okay, this stuff seems irrelevant because it's the day-night cycle, basically. Okay. A bunch of meaningless changes. Okay, now what we have is planning the life of Jackie's mom. Oh. Because admittedly, there's not too many things that need to change. This is hiding a lot of information, though. But I think also, now I should think about, how does this interface back with the gameplay? Like, where does she give us hints, for example? Or, yeah, let's say that. So yeah, how does the medium changing interface with, rest of the gameplay? Hints. Ask where to go, and she'll tell you. Scene. I want more stuff in the ruins, actually, as well. So I'm going to put that in here as, like, more information from the ruins. Like, when did she go to the ruins? Like, maybe let's just put down some markers for places where I think she has visited ruins before, and so we are incentivized to actually thoroughly explore and see, like, did she leave anything behind? Can we learn anything? Like, did she learn something from these ruins that would be interesting to us? So yeah, let's say here. Stats from the stats from the Charade ruins. So yeah, because we need something about the Charade ruins. That'd be interesting. So yeah, Tali's immediate family was killed. She fled to Charade with her. Fled Charade. I keep forgetting the two there. But okay. Monarch, blah, blah, blah. Tree grows. So then there's the Black Basin ruins. And that should be something to do with here. So yeah. Stats about the Black Basin ruins. When she's 17 or so, she gets enough money to leave. And I think here, she actually finds some ruins on the way. Ruins. And these are going to be quite interesting, because this would be, if we go back to the world, I'll have to make sure that this still works out. Basically, she's probably avoiding the train tracks to get back to Charade. So she'd be going up, maybe even around the mountain this way, in sort of a deliberately long pilgrimage. But in here, in the game world, or like the lore, is the entrance into this tower. And so I think the question is, has she been inside of the tower? Onto more ruins. They are the entrance to the tower. Do we... So yeah, let's say this, actually. So that would be here. Along the way, she stumbles onto more ruins. They are the entrance to the tower. Stats for the entrance. Stats for inside the ruins. Or like, path toward tower. Stats for the tower. Yeah, who knew having the A and the B plot of the game merged together would make sense? Because, yeah, I've thought about it before of, like, having her interact with the tower, but I think it just makes sense, both in terms of, like, narrative, of, like, this is sort of a low point in Jackie's mom's life. I mean, most of her life is a low point, but this is especially... Oh, wait, hang on. Whoops. I have not been reading chat at all. Let's see. Someone says, love Nier Automata. Have you played Nier Replicant? I've bought it and I haven't played it yet, which is stupid of me. I don't know why I haven't played it. But yeah, we got our A and B plot. And so that's going to be very important to figure out what she found in the tunnel, or in the tower. Wait, hang on. No, this is the... No. She didn't... No, she wasn't here. That was... This is after that. So this is, way down after that. Leaves in the Dead of Night to here. So I'm going to say this instead. Along the way to Mazlikir. Let's say she's returning to Sharad. Along the way, she stumbles into more ruins. They are the entrance to the tower. So yeah, we have this pilgrimage stat, which actually gives us... So basically, it's been like a decade since she's last been here in Sharad. No, wait, no, not a decade. I mean, I think that would make sense, actually, though. I should probably do that. Basically, after a major bombing, I think she's going to move to Mazlikir, actually. She moved back, or she moved to Mazlikir, but the nearby Sharad. Yeah, because I think she's not actually terribly interested in Sharad. Which I'm realizing I keep pointing to here for both Sharad and Mazlikir. I want this... I think I'm divided. On the one hand, it makes sense from a lore perspective that she would move back to Sharad, which I'm going to point to here, even though I don't actually know where it would be in this map. Because then I can tell the player about, like, how there was rising anti-Sirdi sentiment and the city was bombed, and that's the impetus that she had to actually leave the country for good. Probably. Like, and then she left to Crab Hill, and then she's like, okay, I gotta get out of here. But it's more poetic to me if she was, like, you know, at a low point in her life, she's coming back to Sharad after, like, a decade of being gone. So she hasn't seen the country, or the city in years and years. And then she stumbles upon the ruins at that point in her life. And, like, finds her way into the tower, and the tower tells her something. And then she comes back to Sharad to do something. I much prefer that narrative. So basically, Sharad is not relevant to this point. She moved to Mazlikir because Sharad is growing dangerous. Let's say that. Because Sharad was growing dangerous due to insurgency and civil conflict. So let's say Mum Teen Mazlikir lived in Mazlikir. So who do we actually... I'll have to figure out how we actually know that. So she moved to Mazlikir, changing her name to Sharifa. Or let's just say that. So yeah, she changed her name to Sharifa. Let's put this here. So yeah, we'll say left Mazlikir. Mazakir as a... let's just say... some point. Siestac Maz, blah. So this is going to be... She returns to Sharad. Mom/pilgrimage. And then, let's say, she, I guess she returns to... She returns to Mazlakir. And we'll just have Mom/Dad/Mazlakir. So I'll have that in here as well. Because that's information we know. Dad. Mazlakir. My father. My father met her when he was... her in the city of Mazlakir. Let's say Mum, Dad, Mazlakir. He hardly talks about her. Or let's say that's basically a... Yeah, let's say that. And they married. A few... later. When she left, it was a major... Yeah, let's say that. Okay. So now we know that. So we know that she was living in Mazlakir. Let's say that. So yeah, now we have an interesting point, and we have like this very pivotal trek from Crab Hill, which is growing unstable, or which is also like it's filled with insurgents and she doesn't feel safe there, so she leaves. She takes the long way around the mountain to back home to the city of Sharad, which I guess is somewhere here. But on her way there, she stumbles into a cave. She goes into it. There's spooky ruins, and then she somehow finds her way up into the tower. And she learns some profound thing, some very cool endgame video game content. And then she goes back to Sharad, does something else, and then makes her way to Mazlakir. Admittedly, having like insert cool endgame content here is not what I want in the design, but then again, I don't want to spoil everything for you, so this is fine. She does insert cool thing here in Sharon. Before returning, say, let's say like Mum/Sharad/ final visit. Okay. And yeah, so Sharad should be... Yeah, I'll have to redraw the map, because I also need to completely reorganize it anyway, because I need this to be like the northwest corner of the game world, where right now it's the southwest. And then I need this to be in the like northeast or something, where now right now it's the southeast. Very specifically, I just need to flip these horizontally, and the entire game world needs to come with them. But okay. Alright. Lots to think about, but I'm going to use the bathroom, so I'll be back. Nothing is more disappointing than when my teacup is warm, but the tea inside is ice cold. I don't even know how that happens. But okay, I want to do... I'm always tempted to, like, boot up the game and just start playing, but I don't think that's what I need to do right now. Because it almost always inevitably winds up with me discovering bugs and then getting mad about the bugs. You know, like, I had to stop myself from figuring out what the nan was. Yeah, load game, base save load. Why isn't this here? Wait, don't we have, like, load game? Oh, it's called load sync now. Wait, hang on. Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, okay. I see. Global has the save load, and then this has that. Okay. And it's been like a year since I've actually had footsteps when they broke from, whatever they broke from. But yeah. I want to think a little bit about what I want sort of the overall experience of the game to feel like. Because I think it is, it's not a very complicated structure. Basically, I want it to be, I've described it as like open world action adventure. And so literally you just go around trying to find people who know about your mom, and you get roped into little adventures, which are literally just like typical action adventure stuff. It can be sometimes more linear, sometimes less linear, like the ruins are typically quite non-linear. And you find your power-ups, and you solve puzzles, and you do platforming and some light combat. And then at the end of a lot of them, or along the way to solving most of these, you find some little bit of information about your mom, and that incentivizes you to go back to the medium to talk to her again. But I suppose I need some sort of extrinsic reward for talking, or some sort of... I think, one, I need an indication for when the medium actually has something interesting to say, like some new information. You know, either an event is queued up, or, like, there's been a bunch of changes for some definition of a bunch. And I need, things that you can, like, or reasons to talk to the medium to help you go back out there and do more platforming and action adventure stuff. Like, as I said, like, the hints would be good. Maybe she can even reveal, like, passwords to you, or, like, you know, information that she should not have, but that the medium has. Because the medium itself knows things that are independent of Jackie's mom. You know, it's basically doing two things. It's simulating Jackie's mom, and also it's a computer AI agent with its own goals and its own, like, desires. Hmm. I guess I kind of just need to, like... Yeah, the problem is there's still so many things. Okay, let's start with... the medium. So this is what I want to actually do. How do I want to do this? I want a table. Let's go. I want to find like a table editor. I guess I'll just open up a Google Sheet. Hopefully it doesn't reveal my full first and last name. Okay. Spreadsheet time. So this is going to be the... Stop. The medium. So this is going to be called, I think, reactor. Should it be called reactor? No, I think this will be like slots. Or like appearance. So there's like body type. I think here it'll be like this. So each one of these slots, it'll have a stat and it'll have the effect. So for example, for this, when there's 0 stats, there is primordial. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the top down. So like, let's put this here. So like, let's put it, let's keep that there. And I'm just going to have like info. So each slot has, whatever. Ordered, or bottom effects take priority. Let's just say that. Whatever. I can't figure out where to put anything here. I'm just going to move this to here, and then we can use this for things. Okay. So stat effects. So we'd have like mum/human. No, we'd have mum/Yakazi. Little guy. Mum/human. Human. Not terribly shocking here. I think I could change this to be like broader outfits. I won't change it for now. So outfit is going to be a completely independent stat. So yeah. Primordial and little guy take precedence on the outfits. But okay, let's go to like mum/Yakazi. Let's say like job. What other outfits would I want here? /Sirty, maybe Sirty wear. But what is traditional Sirty? And let's say this is going to be outfit. So basically we'd have like we need a reactor now. Why did it do that? I pressed Control B, didn't I? The reactor's going to be complicated. Mum/... Because basically the way that the reactor works, this is a table of every stat to every other stat. So we'd have like Sirty/outfit. And basically these two would combine to give us mum slash Sirty outfit. Oh wait, I'd put it here. I'll prioritize going down and to the left, so that way we don't scroll like horizontally so far. Okay, so what I need then is like I, and then Control I. There we go. And I'm also going to add cell style here. What do I need here? Format? Because I want a bar on either side of this, so that way we know. Or I guess, how do we make it so that when I scroll this way and I scroll this way, that this stays here? Because we're always going to want to know, for example, what two stats we're interfacing with. But basically this means if we have these two stats, this stat exists. Just as an effect of the thing. But okay, so we have Sirty outfit, traditional Sirty. I think if we have mum slash Sirty... Oh. Thank you, Excel, for, like, doing that now. Secular outfit. Hang on. Let's say mum slash Sharifa. Okay, so what are our other outfits that I wanted to have here? I think I'll just, you know what, for now it's just going to be, it can just be these four. Basically we have a hijab, we have a secular outfit, we have a traditional Sirti outfit. And those will be like the three outfits that we can use with 4 different variables. That'd be bearable. That'll be a reasonable thing to do. And then for things like eye color, let's see. Brown. Actually, let's say by default, if it's unknown, shadowed. Because we have that already. Some people describe her eyes as intense, so it'd be like pink. Slash your eyes. Purple. Slash intense. Yours. And then we'd also have probably, I think this takes priority over both of these. Mum slash blue eyes. Or let's say hazel eyes. No, let's say... Because eye color is easy to do, and I don't have to model an outfit, I have a lot of ideas for how you would learn about her eye color. For example, we'd have like mum slash intense eyes. Alright, we need this on both sides. Yeah, and we favor below the diagonal, so we do this one. So this is like mum slash intense yours. And then we have like, I think you caught, what would we do for hazel eyes? I think that's, if we're explicitly confirmed at, I don't think there's a case for intent or hazel eyes. Actually, but there might be a case for green eyes. Okay, I know what to do. Basically, mum slash black basin. So we'd also have mum slash hazel eyes here. Eyes are usually hazel or green. So basically we would infer from black basin that they have hazel eyes. And I think that would hold priority, so the intense eyes... Yeah, I think this makes sense. So yeah, by default we have that. If we're told her eyes are intense, we think of an intense pink. If we're told her eyes are hazel, or if we see that she had, you know, other people have hazel eyes, we do this. If we see people with hazel eyes and intense eyes, we do that. We do mum slash green eyes. And that's how we would infer her eyes are green. Because basically, what's more intense than hazel? Green, obviously. And I think we might actually change this pink to like a... No, I think because... Who tells us that her eyes are intense like this? I know what to do. Blue slash Sadok eyes. Pink. And this will be talked slash Sadok. So basically, if we have ever talked to Sadok and we've heard our mom has intense eyes, we'll think she has pink eyes. So now we go through a whole gamut of colors. It feels incorrect to have this here, but I guess that's correct. Yeah, because this is the diagonal, and we don't put things above it. So that way I just can scroll down and then to the right. Okay. Okay, so we have eye color, outfit. I think we're going to do skin color. I think we might have like not too much here, but I think we might default to light color. And then for like mum slash Jakazi, let's say Jackie's skin color. Which admittedly, because mum Yakazi takes precedence, we'd have just the little guy here. But let's say an average of the colors of the people, well, let's just say an olive tone. I was about to say, what if I make it the average of all of the skin colors of the people you've met up to this point? But what if I don't do that? Because that sounds like a lot of work. And instead, we just have olive tone. Is there anything else that I'd really... I mean, There are people who could mention that her skin looks like Jackie's, I think. I think that's still a thing that I'd do. Let's say that. So lighter tan, or light tan, let's say. Let's say that. It's very important that our mom is white. Otherwise, how will we sympathize with her? Okay. And I don't even need that, because I know what this means. I know all of this. Is there a way to, like, stylize the cells? Okay, good. Phew. In fact, let's do that to the reactor now. So yeah, we need bottom. And then we need... actually, I guess we can do all of these to the right. Freeze up to row 1. Group row. Okay, there we are. That's exactly what I wanted. Freeze up to column A. Okay, so now we have what I want. And then we can still add things here. But now it's like this, so I can like see the stat that I'm currently affecting at all times. It still feels wrong that this is here rather than here. I think I should put intensize first. Can I move this up without... Can I... I know what to do. There we are. And then I can put this here. And now they're all wrong, actually, because now they're all... Oh, I see what I did. There we go. So yeah, now they're all below the diagonal. Because yeah, they're all associated with intensize. And this makes that relationship much more clear. Okay. So what other slots do we have right now? Because I think these are kind of the main ones for actual, like, physical appearance. There's not actually that many. And they don't have that many. Oh wait, no, I need the cave or the physical rooms now. Room. So yeah, we're gonna have like effect. So let's say by default we have the black void. Then we'd have the like I guess just mud brick. Then we'd have Cerdine brick. Cave, maybe? Actually, what if we had old Cerdine ruins, and then we had a cave? Because, yeah, this is meant to represent kind of more Jackie's state of mind about her mother, rather than anything, like, concrete about, like, you know, where she lived and stuff. There we go. Boom. Let's just say whites. So yeah, by default, nothing. And let's say mum/Sirdi, mum/ruins. This one, the cave. Let's say that again. So, if we know our mom went back to Sherrod, then there's clearly some sort of, attachment to the religion, so she should be going here. And let's say, I guess that's fine. What if we had Valor here? Actually, we should probably have... The player's probably going to learn this information before they learn this information. So this should probably be something like detached ruins. Or like prefers ruins. So that would be like detached plus detached ruins. Actually, why is this all different now? That's supposed to be there, yeah. Basically, if we are detached and we are in ruins. So I think this one. / prefers ruins. And actually, I'm kind of... If I convert this to a table... Is it going to fuck it up where, like, I can't expand it? Let's test this. So, like, can I grow a table now? Okay, good. I can just add a plus. Or I can just, like, take the little corner here, boom, do that. So, yeah, that helps a lot. Oh, wait, hopefully we can also go the other way as well. Okay. It's a little clunky. But not terrible. And that does help kind of with, I don't know what that helps with. It makes it so that there's lines, and that helps a little bit. But okay. Can I convert this to a table? Oh, yeah, I can convert to a table. Boom. Easy. I see that it actually kind of, Nope, that's not what I wanted. I don't care that much. Also, the order of these is important, so I think that might be lost if I mess around too much. But yeah, so now prefers ruins puts us in the old city ruins. Okay. And then I think lost, what would lost be? I think this is going to be like discovery. Let's call it the Tower Cave. So yeah, like if we have like mum/tower, no, pilgrimage, and then mum/tower? Now what would this be exactly? I think we just have like mum/tower entry. And then probably mum/tower here. And I think these two will be flipped and flopped. Can I move this whole thing, like... There we go. Okay. So we have tower entry as she has entered the tower at some point. So yeah, mum/tower entry, mum/tower. And let's say mum/long pilgrimage. Yeah, let's say those for now. So now we have our cool thing. Well, I think this might need to be some sort of tower discovery. I don't know what the tower discovery is yet, but it'll be cool. Oh wait, I messed that up. Okay. I'm kinda... I think this light purple will actually just be only very slightly different. Because Jackie really likes the idea that her mom has... that she has the same color eyes as her mom. But yeah, I'll say that for now. Oh yeah, we also need probably like eye shape. And then like head shape. So we'd probably have like we have shadowed here. And then let's say slash orphan. Sad eyes. But if we know instead something like mum/detached, some sort of like moody eyes. Let's have mum/pilgrimage, serene. So I'm basically trying to imagine, because I haven't actually designed the eye shapes yet, but like, what sort of ways should her face change as she does these things? Or like as we learn more about her. Back to Moody. Say embattled, and this will be our last eyes. They'll be like severe, is what I'll call them, or austere. So I'm imagining there's some sort of stat that's a combination of like, you know, all the bad things that have happened plus pilgrimage or something like that. And I think that would be like Oh yeah, and then mum/your eyes. Would that affect her eye shape much? I think it should. And then maybe the most complete version will be something like mum slash you. So it'll be like a combination of like Okay, let's say that. The most complicated one yet. But yeah, I just want lots of different, like, changes as we go through the medium. Just subtle things that are constantly shifting. And yeah, so a few of these are, like, so mum slash embattled. Let's see, we need to do, Oh, do we not have Pilgrimage and Tower yet? Let's also have, like, Mum Teen Bitter here. And that's going to be, if we go to the Pilgrimage. Wait, hang on. Why did we have Pilgrimage and Tower here? Yeah, we don't really need those anymore. Ah, well. So yeah, if she's bitter, but we've gone on the Pilgrimage, then we get Mum slash embattled. She's had internal strife, but she's gotten over it. And she's on her way back to Sharad, the holy place. And then your eyes serene you and battled you. There we go. Wait, what is Serene Eyes from? Oh, from Pilgrimage. So we don't actually need this. Ah, well. Okay, basically that means that Pilgrimage plus your eyes is, why do I need mum slash in front of everything? I just realized. Like, this is completely irrelevant, because I have it in front of everything. What we actually need here is embattled. And yeah, you know what? I'll start changing this so that it's like this. So yeah, your eyes with embattled. Embattled you. Admittedly, there's so many cosmetic effects that are only applied by, like, more than one stat that I should probably just have, like... Ah, well, whatever. That's fine. And I think head shape, do I care that much? Maybe I'd have, like, round face. Or, like, let's say, like, your face. Actually, I think... So let's say, like, long face here. And then we have mum slash, black face in your face. So, like, she starts to look a lot like you. Because there are people, like your cousins, look almost identical to you. To the point where you mistake a dead body for your own dead body in some sort of surreal, like, moment. So this is going to be the reactor. Let's call it that. See, I'm just going to, like, cut down on some visual noise here. Oh, wait, no, I just realized, nope, okay. There are stats that actually aren't activated by this. You know, because we can talk to characters, we can have other stats here. So yeah, here as well, we need all of those, because there might be stats that are relevant to something else, but okay. Okay, so there's kind of only two things. There's a long face shape and your face shape. I might add something like some other thing, but that'll be for a different day. But okay, are there any other things that I can imagine that I would need here? Because I think this is kind of the most that I need right at the moment. I could have little details in the room, so I'll just put that as like other ideas. So like decor in your room. I keep pressing Control V instead of Control B. I guess that's it for now. We could also have like extra variation. Outfits, appearance. Oh yeah, I remember now. There was extra things that I wanted, like blemishes. So let's say like skin. Like body, skin. Because there should be like nothing, clear skin. Otherwise like mum slash I guess work? And then they'd be like sun damage. Let's just say that. And then there should probably be some sort of other thing of like, I guess I don't need too much more. Yeah, I'll say that, and we'll figure out where Mum Worker is somewhere. Almost certainly in Mazlik here. Or almost certainly in, extended family. Let's say mum slash teen slash work. In the fields as a teenager. Let's say that. So basically there's like two stats that all say the same thing. So we'll say like mum slash Mazlakir worker. So yeah, pretty easy stuff. Can I, like, remove? Can I clear these and then put this? Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. So yeah, that makes that easy. Anything else? I guess I could start designing these eyes. Since I haven't really done much, like, interesting visually in this visual medium of streaming. Oh. And thankfully there haven't been as many, like, reaction stats as I was worried there'd be, because I was worried this table would get, like, you know, like, hundreds of entries in each direction, and it'd be miserable to implement all of these, but this is like 12 things. At least so far. Oh, I do need a few that are like, let's say like mum slash Gerard, or no, Gerard, Sirdi, and then like, mum slash Gerard. So we'd have like probably Sirdi there. So yeah, right about here. Mum slash probably Sirdi. And that way we can change this here to also include probably Sirdi. And what I'd probably do, so we'd have probably Sirdi up here. We'd have this. I'd say we'd do this. Actually, I have an idea. We'd have the actual ruins take priority, but if we know she was in fact Sirdi, explicitly confirmed, we do that, then we do that. So we kind of go back and forth between these ruin styles for a while, before settling on a white void, when we've discovered whatever cool endgame video game content, please buy the game for full price, content that we have. But okay. And we could have a few other ways of getting mum slash probably Sirdi, but I'll figure those out later. But okay. What we need now is crucially important. We need a face. And we need eyes. I'll use my sketch. Let's see, the good ones. For some reason, Krita does not respect your favorites, at least on Windows. Like, I've realized Windows Krita is, like, terrible for some reason. Hang on, where do I move this so that I'm not constantly touching it? But yeah, like, on my Linux laptop, Krita just boots up instantly, where I've complained constantly here that it takes like 45 seconds to boot up. And I don't know what it is, because they also have the same plugins, which is the one plugin that I use for my spreadsheets. But otherwise, there's like no difference between them, or shouldn't... Well, actually, I mean, that isn't a difference. There are no differences between like what I have installed and what I'm using them for. So I don't know why one is just like 20 times faster, because it boots up in like half a second. But okay, let's start with sad eyes. Also, let's make sure that I know, like, where the nose is. So this doesn't need to be, like, a final, like, version. Or, you know, this isn't final game art, so I'm just gonna, like, loosely put in a face so I know what I'm doing here. And then let's have... Oh, yeah, we could have eyebrow shape as a thing, either as part of the... We need tired eyes. So maybe, like, eye detail. So just have that, and then let's just have, like, none. What do I want for detail? Basically, I want the, like, bags under the eyes as, like, a thing that we can have. But I want those to be... Let's do, like, hiding, maybe. That's good enough for me, because I can always also just flip around these stats once I figure out exactly what I want for them as I'm writing. But this gives me, like, a good idea of, like, all of the things that I need to consider. At least for, like, the appearance of the thing. So we need some sad eyes. So I'm going to say maybe the eyebrows are, like, by default controlled by the eyes. As for now, let's just put, like, fairly neutral eyes here. Yeah, we need some sad eyes. I don't know how to draw eyes. I haven't drawn in, like, a fucking 1,000 years. Man, these look like the eyes of an orphan. Actually, the iris, or the eyelid should touch the iris and possibly even the pupil to make the eyes look calm. And also, let's squish down, like, her entire face. I know that it doesn't really matter because that I'm not designing the face, but it's like, come on, I can make it look at least a little better. Hopefully I didn't fuck it up with that. Okay. What if she can look like Razia a little bit? Like another character that we know. Ah, well. Okay, so this is my first attempt at sad eyes. If you know that she's a sad little orphan, that's your first thing. And then moody eyes will be similar. Let's give a different color so I can tell the difference between these. I should probably not be trying to, like, match the exact shape, especially since I can't draw to save my life, apparently. What does this look like? So this is her cool, detached persona. We've learned that she doesn't care about anything. So I think thicker eyelashes would be kind of, I think, appropriate here. Admittedly, none of this feels really right because Jackie has enormous eyes, and I'm still not really, like, settling in on the proper style for them. But oh well. Concept art. Medium. Mum. Eye. Shapes. So this is, like, moody. Then we need angry, and then serene and austere in our eyes. I should actually think about also as well kind of the ethnicity that is implied by the eye shape, because that's really like, because like the eyebrows and expressions tend to be what make eyes look angry, not the shape of the eye. And we also need the iris and pupil in the same place because those aren't going to be changing. And we could have, if you are told that her eyes are intense, let's have that in here as well. And then probably be before detached as like a lower priority thing. So like mum/intense eyes. Because yeah, I also now need the, I think a lot more of the, oh wait, what the heck just happened? There we are. I think there's not going to be a whole lot of variation in the eye shape from this, or from like her personality, to be honest. Ah, well. Alright, we don't need these ones anymore. Well, I kind of do want sad to be like our baseline, maybe. I'm going to say... maybe something like this. I think that's going to go in too far. Let's go about here. Not too different from angry eyes, but that's okay. These aren't really meant to be like massive differences, more just like she feels like a slightly different person as you learn more about her and as your impression of her changes, because, you know, she's a slightly different person. That seems fair. And I think that's kind of... do I really want more variations? I guess I do. Your eyes Because I think austere doesn't really matter that much. I don't need to, like, split the atom on this. Okay, move these into here, and then move these up to here, and then put all of this in a box and call it good. Because, yeah, we'll have our eyes and serene eyes. So, yeah. Once we know that she's gone on a pilgrimage, that kind of settles, like, our impression of her personality. I think here, gonna be hard to figure out how to make her eyes feel like our eyes. Especially with the, like, constraints that I've added to myself here of, like... Well, I guess the eyes can actually control how the iris is shaped and, like, all that stuff. You know, I'm just gonna not have it here. Oh. Because it's too complicated for me. There we are. Perfect. So yeah, we'll have like 4 or 5, 6 type, no, 5 types of eyes there. So yeah, we got our sad little puppy dog orphan eyes. Got our more detached eyes, angry eyes. The sort of serene eyes. I guess austere. I prefer that as the description. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah. I like those. And yeah, we don't have anything particularly interesting with the head shape. Well, I do think... The problem is... She never really looks like Jackie. Because Jackie is just in a different art style than these sort of paper doll styled characters. Do I want to change her mouth shape and expression very much? Not too much. I think this is a perfectly adequate amount of variation on the character. And so now I know what this hijab is. So we need the secular outfit and the traditional Serdi outfit. So I'm going to actually put all of this in the to-do list. Let's get my... Can I, like, get a copy of this link? How do I get a copy of this? Move, see document status, star, share. Let's copy a link to this. So yeah. The medium. Where's the medium? I'm too dumb to figure it out. So let's just say C doc. So this will be like effects. So yeah, we'll have like eye shapes. For some reason, I heard like the intro of Terraria, and now I want to play Terraria. But okay, eye shapes. So yeah, we need to implement shadowed, sad, angry, moody, austere. Then we have outfits. Job, secular, additional, Serdi. Maybe actually hidden. Or like, let's say that. So like a slightly different outfit if we're not actually like, because basically we assume that our mother is Muslim at the start of the game because it's a predominantly Muslim country. And then we see that she's Serdi, so we're like, oh, well, she's not Muslim. So Jackie kind of just makes up a like secular outfit. But then we actually learn what Serdi people dress like. So then it's like, okay, that's what she dresses like. And then it's like, wait, no, she was pretending to be Muslim at the time, though. So she's wearing a Muslim outfit, but it's like a disguise. And so that might be what I'm imagining in my head, is that like she's like really tucking things in, where like here it's probably more casual, perhaps, or the opposite. Well, specifically tucking hair into the hijab, since that's what, like, there's a lot of variation in how tightly you pack your hair underneath your wrapping, or like a scarf. But okay, and we have little guy, so let's do skin tone. So it'd be white, olive, tan. Eye colors. Shadow. Brown, light blue. Actually, let's say here there's going to be an extra one. In case we have Mum Human without Mum Yukazi, this will be black. I don't know when we get Mum/Human exactly, because I think... Yeah, I don't know exactly when we get that. But I think we can get them in different orders. Yeah, light blue, pink, hazel, green, purple, intense purple, head shapes. So we just have hidden eyes, because that's technically a different head shape because of implementation details, so I'll just put that here. But then, like, long face and, like Jackie's face. And then skin, which I have done before. Clear, sun, damage. Like, I've already implemented almost all of these effects. But yeah, I just didn't have them in any sort of structure. Say decor. And yeah, let's make sure the rooms also are working. So yeah, we have the black void. Mud brick. Sirdi brick. Old Sirdi ruins. And then we go back and forth until Tower Cave, and then White Void. Or, whatever cool thing we do. Little guy and human. And yeah, then the events can also have all of these different parameters. So this is like our default state. But yeah, we need now also events. Let's call this effects. Or like slots effects. And then we'd have events. And events are queued by certain knowledge. So like stats, events. So I'm thinking like Mum/Gerard, or let's say Sirdi. So I want actually Mum/Sirdi and Mum/Gerard. and mum slash war, I think. Something like that. I know, actually. Mum slash orphan and mum slash charade. So yeah, when we learn she lived in Charade and we learn she's an orphan, then we get mum slash Charade war. And that event will be like lost child in battle. Or let's say the Battle of Charade. And I think we might actually have as well, Charade, if we know her early childhood, or if we've been to Charade before, we can queue up this event, plus visited Charade. And I don't care that much to make like stats for all of these, I guess. Yeah, that's fine to me. So I think if we get mum teen work plus mum teen isolated. I wish it would just like... When I press space, I wish it would just add a space to the text and then not replace all of it. But okay. What other things do we need? So, this is like a teenage time. Seems fair. So we'll basically be talking to like a teenage version of our mom, working the field. And sort of hear her perspective of her life from that point. Let's see. Let's just say mum slash ruins Black Basin. And I'll just have that here as well, like mum slash charade. Specifically for ruins as a child. Okay. Let's do Mum Sadak Betrayal. So, like, seen her as a teenager, and now we'll see her right before she leaves. So, like, also, let's also have, like, Mum slash... or Sharifa? Basically, trying to think of pivotal moments in her life that could be fun to either... I'm thinking of either, you know, we talk to her at these moments, or we play as her in these moments through the medium. I'm going to close this. I keep alt-tabbing to it and I don't need it. And we don't need this either. Okay. Some sort of genuine connection, blah, blah, blah. Change names to Sharifa. So doc, and we should also think of dream events, because I think there are things where you don't actually get an event that's real, like based on a point in her life. Okay, let's have like mum/tower plus visited tower, and that'll be like the tower. That seems fair. And then I kind of do, yeah, I want dream events as well. Just like random things that can happen based on information from dreams. So yeah, stats. Yeah, thankfully the reactor is not terribly complicated. Especially since now I've decided that this stuff, like I can just put like and state get stat something. You know. Like I can just have other stats here rather than creating one stat and having a one-to-one relationship, which I think is still useful for these slot-based effects, but maybe not useful enough to have this whole system here. So I'll just put in here, like, do I need the reactor? So basically, or should I just, example, creating the stats mum/green eyes. Instead of just using both mum/intense eyes and mum/green eyes to infer it. Yeah, because I think for now, yeah, I think they're not universal enough that I'm just going to map it to a function. Or basically, each of these event slots will just have a function, and it can do anything that it wants. Check as many stats as it wants for each parameter. It'll just make sure to respect the, like, top to bottom order, and the reactor is basically just saying, well, the reactor is more just to tell me what they mean now. I do kind of want a more explorer-based outfit. I'm going to do that, actually. Mum/... So, like, we're going to have, like, some sort of, travel outfit. Something kind of like what Razia wears. So, yeah, outfits, Muslim disguise, and then we'll have the outfit as our last bit. What the heck is this? I think pilgrimage is actually probably the most... I think it has to be a reactor outfit, or reactor thing. Because we should know, basically, that this is significant. So we're going to say mum/Gerard return. And I'm going to say here, it's actually... yeah, we need, I think we need several stats here. Plus, mum/hidden, or hiding. Plus, or I think this will be like, she's changed her name, plus she, Hill plus mum slash black basin plus mum slash Mazlikir. Yeah. Basically, we have to know that she's been gone for a very long time, and now she's returning. And we have to know that she changed her name and she went into hiding and all that stuff. Otherwise, it's just, oh, she came back to her home. It's only when we actually know all the significant stuff. So yeah, I think this... Yeah, I think the reactor is just too complicated. I don't need a massive table. Because yeah, I do need to figure out the hints that you get from her. So at various points, yeah. We need to figure out what does she know, or like... So yeah, lots of so there should be various things that you can discover talking to the medium. I don't know what they are, though. But they should be probably, like, ruins and, I'll say that. Interesting parts of ruins. That'd be good. Places the player hasn't been that may be relevant. So yeah, because you can just ask Sharifa, like, hey, you were in these ruins, right? What did you find in them? Like, where did you go? And she's like, oh, you need to use the fucking thermal glasses on this place. Have you tried using your special items? Yeah, that'd be a thing that she can do. Okay, that all seems good. Okay, so we kind of have all of this information, and it's good to have just like a collection. But yeah, the main thing now is we still don't have the cool things that she did. And what's her relationship to Razia? Why is Razia doing similar things? Because yeah, Razia is another character who wants to get into the tower. And she wants to get in specifically to, like, defeat the Emirate. Yeah. Her name was Riley in the past, but yeah. What the heck is... Why is it just darkness? People call it darkness, but that's not what it is. When did I say that? The Morning Visitor. Oh, yeah, okay. That's a painting series. Toy Theater. Why did I write these? Weird. I guess they are strange ideas. I actually really like this one. There's something that they call darkness, but it distorts the things around you. And it's not actually like literal darkness, it's something else. Because that is a thing that happens elsewhere in the game. Like in certain areas where the medium is having a weird effect, where you see like those like memories of people that are speaking like scattered fragments of sentences and things like that. Would that be what they call darkness?
I don't know. I think that might be too confusing. That might just. I think just having the weird thing that distorts things is already interesting enough. I don't need to call it darkness incorrectly. But okay, I think that is a start on this. So yeah, I kind of want to do basically a green field, have one medium, have the characters again. So basically, if we go back to my proof of concept, kind of just making it do exactly what it was supposed to do from the start. But yeah, because like my layer system, probably too complicated. It doesn't really help. Okay. Let's go to the world. I've already forgotten what the context of what I was doing was. Like, I straight up don't remember why I opened the world. I have such a small brain. I can only keep like half of an idea in my head at the same time. Oh yeah, proof of concept. Yeah, I think going back to the proof of concept and actually implementing all of the things that I have here, because the issue in the past has been I just don't enumerate all of the things I need before I start working. Because I had this idea, and it was correct. This is a good idea to have like just a little area that I can walk around in to do the story. But it just wasn't, you know, designed correct. Or I just didn't like have everything in the game yet. Failed to execute. Context active. Ah. Okay. So now I need to like fix the context code and stuff like that. But I think I should do that after... Well, I don't think that'd be too hard to do. Yeah, basically there's a variable called context in the 2D version of the game. But in the 3D version of the game it doesn't exist, so a lot of characters and things will now be broken, because I was implementing them in that quest system. But okay, I think the game is closer to being done than I gave myself credit for. Like, I don't need to do a whole rewrite and stuff, because there's plenty of stuff in here that works. But yeah, I just need to, you know, implement all of the content in the game and redo all of the, like, core technical things in the game. So, you know, not too big a deal. And the movement could be improved. I still don't like the fact that Jackie can't, like, walk up little steps. But, oh well, I can just make ramps. Tons of games do that. But okay, I'm going to call that there. Because I now have basically the entire medium structured out, except for... basically, there's a whole spoilery section of the medium. But I know that one pretty well. So you'll have to wait and see what it is. Also, I should probably save the Google document as something. Oh, this is going to be tricky, because I don't think you can ever actually save a document here. Can I download it as... I'm going to download it as a... I'm going to say a PDF. Maybe an ODS. Do I have open document? I'll just make a PDF. Can I save, like, all the pages? Workbook. There we go. Wow, this one is, like, fucked up. Oh, because it has the... right? Because I have every single row doing its thing. Hang on, cancel. Go back to reactor. We don't really need the reactor anyway, but I'm just going to basically go through here and remove the borders. Because yeah, we don't actually need any borders at all. Okay. How much is the whole workbook now? Oh, yeah, that's much more reasonable. We do still have 2 blank pages, but I don't care that much. Okay. Export this bad boy. Alright. Move that into here. And let's not show my downloads folder. I have no idea what's in there. But okay, I guess this would be in concept art. The medium.pdf. Good enough? Okay. Well, thank you for watching. This was not a very exciting stream, but it was a necessary stream. I needed to basically just go through this, write everything down. And I feel like I've written down most of what is interesting about it. And now there'll be a lot of writing, the dialogue and all that stuff, but that's for future me to figure out. Okay, thank you for watching. See you later.